From Carolla One Studios in Glendale, California, this is the Adam Carolla Show. Adam's guest today, director Barry Sonnenfeld. With Gina Grad on news, Paul Bryan on sound effects, and a phone call from Daniel Kellison. And now, looking forward to discovering all the ways the new iPhone 13 won't work for him. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get it on. Manage to get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
And Bold Brian, I couldn't go wrangle up 50 gays. Oh, well, that leads me into my first discussion.
Oh.
A lot for you guys planned for today. Have another very hysterical yet shorter clip of me and Norm doing a little role-playing with Vandersloot in that situation over there on one of the islands.
Great.
People love those. Speaking of Norm, Danny Two Sheets will call in because he has all those stories of working with him on a TV show. Maybe Norm's last TV show as far as official TV show. Yeah. Also, Rob Schneider sent over the bit he was talking about with the gay marriage counselor, I believe.
Good.
It's a nice, tight 3-minute bit. We can play that bit. Was what Norm thought was the perfect joke where the setup or the perfect sketch, whatever, the setup was the joke.
Yeah, exactly. The punchline and the setup are the same.
Did you guys see the
punchline in the setup? Yes.
Did you see the Larry King interview with Norm? That might be fun to grab. It's essentially Norm reveals to Larry that he's way, way, way deep in the closet and just starts fucking with Larry. So you're gay? Of course I'm not. I'm not saying I'm gay. I'm deep in the closet. And Larry is so confused.
When Larry...
Durham, North Carolina.
It was awesome.
About the last 6 years of Larry doing the interviews, and I was just watching him because I love him, because when he had DJ Khaled on there, and DJ was talking about keeping himself clean and straight, and he's like, how'd you put on all the weight? He was, they do from the mouth of babes, but also from the mouth of the elderly.
That's true.
Yes.
They don't realize that once you cross 84, you start saying whatever the fuck pops into your head, just hoping something. I'm convinced at the end, if Norm could, I think Norm could have convinced him that Larry King was interviewing Larry King and that he was conducting the interviewing himself.
Very possible.
I think he could have done it. All right. Oh, so speaking of gay, I was looking back because I'm constantly, I have a crusade, and that crusade is for everyone to give up their fucking crusades. Like, we never stop talking about, we're a racist nation, homophobic, is the NFL ready for an outed gay man to play in the league? How's that going to work? You know what I mean? We did it for all the years leading into President Obama. We get a black president, he's going to be assassinated on, It was we were constantly doing this stuff where he's going to be assassinated. America's not going to stand for it. Would never let a gay. And it's like we're talking about ourselves as if it was 1957, not 2021. And I was just thinking about, I think Mastiff is his name, the N for the Raiders. He came out as open. Nassib.
Carl Nassib.
Nassib. It's Nassib, and I think it's pronounced Nassib.
Yeah,
Nassib.
Why else would I know it?
Nassib, right.
Gina's favorite player.
He came out, said he was gay, and then on Monday Night Football made a crucial strip sack. Got the word strip and sack right in it. And his teammates mobbed him and congratulated him. And nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's my whole point.
That's the world I'd like to live in.
Is the world ready for a woman to be vice president? It's like, yes, we are. We always have been. No, show us. Yes, if you have to go back 57 years in this, as Newsom will do, and like 16 states wouldn't allow interracial marriage in 1963. Like, yes, before we were born.
Yeah.
Not now, but not now.
Yes.
Not now. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
We got better. So We have, two-term black president, fine. We got a woman vice president of color, fine. And we have a openly gay defensive end who's making strip sack.
What's the world coming to?
And everyone's fine.
Yeah.
And all the Raiders fans, and if you think about Raiders fans, not the most evolved, they're cheering their ass off for the gay man who strip sacked the quarterback to end the game. Okay, fine. So good to know. We can stop beating ourselves up at every turn. All right, Barry Sonenfeld, interesting.
Love Barry Sonnenfeld.
Yeah, couple interesting things. So he directed Men in Black 1, 2, and 3. Wild Wild West, the aforementioned Wild Wild West. Don't form him. You went low, and I went high on Rotten Tomatoes. And many things, but cinematographer.
He made his bones as a very famous cinematographer, yeah.
In a movie that was groundbreaking for its cinematography.
Oh, hit me up.
Raising Arizona.
Very groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking.
Oh.
Yeah. They had all...
Brian, you look so confused.
Are you guys fucking with me?
No, not at all.
No, it was known for being groundbreaking for cinematography because they had all those shots of like going all the way, the cameras going all the way across the lawn and going up the ladder and going into the room. People weren't doing those kinds of shots.
And lots of really like eclectic POV, like from
I'll let Barry know your reaction to that as well.
Grocery carts. It's very, I don't know. It's groundbreaking.
No, I mean, you can't go, nobody ever did but it was known for its cinematography and its sort of groundbreaking, especially in the comedy world. I mean, I'm sure, Star Wars and that kind of stuff. But
he was the cinematographer famously in a lot of Coen Brothers movie, including one of my favorites, the early one, Blood Simple. Have you guys seen Blood Simple?
I've never seen it.
Such a great shot movie.
And please don't tell him I am so ashamed on this Yom Kippur to admit that I have not started Shmigadoon yet, which I have heard nothing but great things about. It's a musical, sort of fun series.
Maybe we should play the aforementioned Rob Schneider gay marriage counselor that Norm seemed to like and shot with Rob not too long ago. Again, the tributes are pouring in. It's always interesting. Like, you don't know, maybe you're too close to it, but when you're friendly with somebody and you know who they are, you kind of wonder what the reaction will be when they pass away. And, there's not going to be any reaction when our parents pass away and we're, semi-friendly with them. So sometimes you get friendly with someone and you think it's just going to be friends and family kind of thing. And then you turn on Good Morning, Good Day LA or whatever. And they're doing this whole long retrospective on Norm's career. It was actually a really funny clip. Norm's one of these guys that had such an embarrassment of riches of funny clips that it's hard to pull them out and put them up. But they showed a clip on Good Morning, Good Day, Good Morning America, whatever it is. And he was up there with, I think he was doing Conan O'Brien's show. And it was so perfect, and I hope I do it justice. But he had, so sitting, when you do panel, sometimes you get up and leave, and then other times you just slide over a seat on the sofa and you sit with Andy, and then the lead person sits closest to Conan in his desk. And he was, I don't know if you can find this one, Chris. I'm putting you on the spot. It was him doing Conan, and the actress was coming out in a movie called Chairman of the Board. I think it was Carrot Top's movie.
Oh, go on.
And that was the movie where Carrot Top was chairman of the board, like surfboard.
Oh, there it is.
And they were doing a thing where he was a surfer, and now he runs the company. You know those bad 90s movies where everyone stumbled into running companies?
Very high concept.
Yes.
Sonnenfeld shot that. Groundbreaking.
And well, sorry if I know something about cinema, Brian.
Yeah, I know. I really got to bone up.
Was it Courtney Thorne-Smith?
It had to be Courtney Thorne-Smith.
Larry Miller was in that.
Oh, well,
of course.
There you
it's
go.
all coming together.
But it was perfect because Conan was interviewing Courtney Thorne-Smith, who was in the movie. They're going, "What's the title? Oh, we don't have a title." And then he literally just put Norm on the spot. Like, you would never do that to a guest. Like, literally going, "Oh yeah, what do you got? What do you got to say about this?"
Right.
That's funny. You don't really do that in that position, but he must have trusted Norm enough to put him in that spot. So I can, well, maybe we can find it.
We have it. It's like 8 minutes long, so I don't know. How
Yeah,
much.
but it wouldn't be, it would only be
that
the part where
part.
Norm told the
Yeah,
joke.
we're scrubbing through it.
Well,
It'd
you
be
do
toward
that.
the end, probably.
I think one of the Conan, lack of a better word, tributes or something he said about Norm was that Norm had this thing that if you told him a story, he would repurpose it as his own story. Did you ever notice that about him? I don't know if that was even widely known or if he just liked to do that as a joke. I
Later
don't
in
know.
his career, Norm had that whole bit about digging out footings with a coffee can. And
What?
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Earthquake rehab?
Yeah.
Downtown. Yeah,
Oh my God.
it was hilarious.
I told him that in confidence.
It's out now.
All right, well, we'll scrub through that. We'll see if we can find that. We can play the, unless you think you got it now.
Yeah,
maybe-
we're just cutting it right now, so just give us like another 30 seconds here.
Well, we can play the Rob Schneider clip that Rob sent it to us with his blessing.
Do you want to know how much Chairman of the Board made at the box office? $181,000.
That's hard to do. It's harder to make. It's harder to do that than make 181 million.
No, I think I pulled that off. But, I'm not here to talk about
I
myself.
meant for a big budget Hollywood movie.
All right, well, let's play the Rob Schneider clip with Norm, the gay marriage counselor.
Now, Ben, Howard, you guys have been in a monogamous homosexual relationship for 3 years. You seem to have a lot in common. You have a lot of mutual friends. You seem to have a lot of the same interests. So why don't you tell me what's going on?
Well, Howard's a great guy, and I love him, and I think you're right. We do have a lot of mutual friends, and we have a lot of the same interests.
Large
So
black
what
man.
seems to be the problem?
Well, the problem is that every time I go to sleep, he fucks me in the ass.
And how does that make you feel?
Makes me feel bad. Every time I go to sleep, he fucks me in the ass.
Howard,
A large
are you
man
hearing
of
what Ben
color.
is saying?
Yes. I am.
And how do you feel about what Ben is saying?
I feel bad.
Ben, do you hear what Howard is saying?
Yeah.
How do you feel about what Howard just said?
He said he feels bad, but he's not the one getting fucked in the ass every night.
Okay, we're not here to blame the other person. We're here to talk about our feelings.
Well, my feeling is every night he fucks me in the ass.
And you don't like that.
No.
And how about you, Howard? Would you like it if you were sleeping and Ben fucked you in the ass?
No. I wouldn't.
Okay, good. You see, we fall in love with a romanticized version of our partner. And then one day, we wake up with a real person.
I wake up with his dick in my ass.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry too.
Okay, when we have disagreements, we each have to assess how much of it is our own fault.
Okay, well, I guess my fault is that I can't stay awake all night to watch him and make sure he doesn't fuck my ass.
I'm sorry.
You say that now because I'm awake.
That's not true.
Come on, as soon as I fall asleep, you'll be fucking me in the ass again.
That's not fair.
You said it.
All right, here's what I want you to do. I'm gonna give you these pads, and I want you to each write down what it is you guys want out of this relationship, individually and as a couple.
I want him not to fuck me in the ass.
Silently. Please write silently.
Drops the
Drop
pen.
this pen. Showing some ass crack.
Perfect.
Good luck doing that to the and defensive end for the Raiders.
Those are calling acid. That's right.
All right, we have
I'll do a swim technique on you.
also, yeah, because anytime you go upside a man
Or
or
woman.
woman's head, they tend to blink their eyes. Oh, we have the Conan. It's 10 seconds, right?
Oh well, I have it. He's kind of going back and forth for a while, so it kind of builds up to it. It's like a minute and a half. I think it's good.
Okay, play that for.
But what's the movie going to be called?
Well, I know what it's going to be called.
Yeah, what's that?
If it's got Carrot Top in it, you know what a good name for it would be?
What's that, Norm?
Box Office Poison.
She's in it.
What about my career?
Courtney Thorne Smith, the girl sitting to your left, is in the movie.
I'm going to go see it for Courtney.
You steer everybody else away?
No, I love this girl. I would see any movie with this girl in it. She's a beautiful lady and a talented, nice talk show guest.
As evidenced by her appearance on our rival show. All right, well, there's this 2-hour season finale of Melrose Place. There's this movie coming out.
Yes.
Title undetermined at this point.
Chairman of the board.
Oh, all right. Do something with that, you freak.
I bet the board is spelled B-O-R-E-D.
That's all you needed.
He didn't give two shits.
That was funny.
Box Office Poison.
Gina, thinking of you today,
Yeah.
thought of the word moist and how much women hate moist.
Not into
and,
it. I was talking about
it's
chocolate cupcakes.
kind of universal that people, women especially, just don't like you using the word moist.
True.
Yet, never stop using moisturizer.
No.
That's an
Answer that.
inconsistent. Yeah.
That is a really good point. Because
Buying moisturizer by the gallon, hate the word moist. Like you
Yes.
could hate the word Holocaust, but you wouldn't buy Holocausterizer, right?
I don't put my cup on a Holocauster.
Holocauster. That's my.
You're
that's my
right.
point.
And I'm in all these like curly hair groups on Facebook. And
Jesus Christ.
I'd rather be in a curly Sue group.
underrated.
Yeah.
It's like, and all the girls come on like, hi, my curly wavies. And then they give you tips. And I do this thing called plopping with my hair. But anyway, it's all about the moisture point on your hair. So I come across that word multiple times a day. And you're right. We're fine with it.
You're fine with moisturizer.
Moisturizer, but not moist.
Yeah.
Right there.
Interesting.
It's a
It's
good
right
point.
there.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Newsom stood the test and shall be the governor for the next year or something in California.
Yeah.
And Larry Elder did not knock him off his perch. And it was to be expected sort of at the end. Seemed that way. Newsom had a war chest of 70, 80 million bucks. Larry's probably lagging behind maybe 10, 13 million bucks or something like that. I think once he really got the heavy guns out, we started figuring it out. Oh, yeah, I don't know if you've, Chris, I forgot to talk to you about that Biden clip with Larry. Play that as well. But here's the thing as I was thinking about it. I am amazed that this thing got turned into a race thing. I sit back and I watch the news and, you know, we've all seen how COVID got racialized and climate change got racialized. I'm always very interested in how we can racialize everything. But a black man from the inner city, how are we going to play? Just trotted that race card out and just fucking threw it down on the table. Just
blackface of white supremacy.
Played it. And then I was kind of thinking about that, and I realized that I was only really seeing half the story, which is the Times was playing out this race thing with Larry Elder. There was that thing where the person had the gorilla mask and threw an egg at him, and they sort of played that off as it's a skirmish between supporters of Elder and supporters of the homeless, but it wasn't. It had every component of a great race story except for it was Larry Elder, and you were working the other angle, Los Angeles Times. But then I started thinking to myself, what about Gavin Newsom? It's not only not only did they take, it's one thing. Look, it's always a bridge too far if you're trying to play the race card and the person you're trying to play it against is black, but fine, we've crossed that bridge. If you're running against Pete Buttigieg or something, well, he's gay and maybe comes from humble beginnings or something. But Gavin Newsom is the richest, whitest guy in California. The idea that you try to work this angle with the haves and the have-nots and the race angle and stuff, I said, I forgot about Gavin Newsom. Born and raised in San Francisco, fourth generation San Franciscan. Father was a state appeals court judge and attorney. So his father was a judge in San Francisco. And by the way, there was a time when, there's a Ring doorbell everywhere, cops aren't on the take or whatever. But there was a time that if your dad was a judge, that was a pretty good thing. That was a pretty good thing. There was things they could do for you. I don't know if he did, but he grew up with his dad as a judge. Yeah. His dad, who was a judge, also, he was an attorney for Getty Oil.
Oh.
He oversaw an array of Getty Oil trust, a family trust. So he was in charge of the richest person his dad was in charge of the richest family in the world and their money. That feels a little white privilege-y to me. He directly managed the personal wealth of billionaire Gordon Getty. Also, I wonder if that's Gordon Gecko-y.
Yeah, I was just wondering if Gordon was the name.
Gordon Gecko, Gordon Getty.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Line up.
Gordon told the San Francisco Chronicle that he treated Newsom like a son, invested in 10 out of his 11 businesses, Newsom's business. So you have this crazy financial backing. And mom was a realtor in Marin County, some of the richest real estate on the planet. And it's also, it's the highest income per capita in the U.S., Marin County,
there you go.
By the way. His great-grandfather was a pioneer in the field of nephrology.
The skull.
Skull.
Nephrology,
yeah. He was a professor of medicine at Stanford. So, the guy's lineage, it doesn't get bluer bloody than that.
Let's not forget, one of the inciting incidents for the whole recall was him at the French Laundry.
Right.
No. Not McDonald's.
The highest end restaurant in California, if not the United States.
And you know how we're always, how we, the world, society is always talking about daddy's money with Trump. Newsom just out-daddy's moneyed Donald Trump. If it's true that Donald Trump's father gave him $1 million, $1 million, what's $1 million? This guy, he got invested in 10 businesses and his dad's a judge and worked for Getty Oil?
And then I thought, Max Spada, you don't have it here, but I was thinking of Newsom's wife.
It's there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's on a different paper.
Oh, it's on a different paper. Oh, well, I will retrieve that. I will tell you what I know. All right. So then here's Larry Elder. Grew up in South Central, went to Crenshaw High. Father was a sergeant in the Marines, World War II. Went to work. His dad went to work as a janitor for Nabisco and eventually saved up enough money to open a very small cafe in Pico Union. And that's it. Not more humble. Doesn't get humbler than that shit.
And military.
Versus Gavin Newsom. And that's, but it's all right. We're still playing this scenario out.
So here's my question.
Oh, I got it. Sorry.
Is Gavin Newsom, I think he can go one of two ways in the next year because I imagine he wants to run again. And I think this is probably good for Larry in the long run for next year. So now that everybody knows his name. But is Gavin going to say, it's gut check time. I saw how close I got to losing this. I really have to do something. Or more like a petulant child, fuck you guys. Yeah. You try to take me down, I'm going to take you down.
I guess probably the second one.
Yeah. We'll probably get vindictive Gavin. His wife married Gavin in 2008 at her parents' ranch in Montana. She was born in San Francisco. Father, investment manager. Mother was a co-founder of the Bay Area Discovery Museum in Sausalito, so museums and financial business. Grew up in the affluent suburb of Ross, California.
You familiar, Brian?
I couldn't even tell you where that is.
Graduated.
That's how affluent it is. I've never heard of it.
Graduated from Stanford, moved to Hollywood to pursue acting in 2002, and dated George Clooney in the early 2000s. So I do not know if you get more affluent than that
Charmed
couple
lives.
right there.
And my favorite thing that I just don't think gets talked about enough on either side. Can we please just have a moment to celebrate that Gavin Newsom and Kimberly Guilfoyle were married?
I know.
It's almost impossible to believe.
And wasn't she running technically?
For governor?
Either recalled, her name was on one of the lists.
How'd Kate do?
Kate.
Caitlin.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many votes Caitlin got.
Caitlin got out of the gate. I would say if it was a Olympic event, like we know Bruce from back in the day.
Now you're talking.
Got out of the blocks in the 100-meter pretty good.
She broke her leg and she got shot.
Got about the first 5 steps and then just completely fell off the pace.
I don't know if we have the clip or not, Kalen, but dude, the clip you brought in of Bill Maher, I don't know, months ago, that he fucking called it, man, and you brought the clip in where Maher's like, he's like, the recall, don't do it. It's going to be a huge waste of time, huge waste of money. We're not going to get anywhere. It's going to end up at the same place we are, just minus $300 million. I don't know if Kalen has the clip, or you brought that clip in, and it was exactly what happened.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened. All right. Well, Bill Maher's got his ear to the ground, man. I have the, I don't know why this cracked me up. Then the reason maybe I'll combine this with feelings and my gad sad thing. I'll do it on another day. But we are going towards feelings fast when it comes to politicians. The talk amongst Gavin Newsom and everyone who supported him. By the way, no one said Gavin Newsom's doing a bang-up job. They just all went, the other guy's a bad guy. Everything was all feelings and feelings and feelings.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a Gavin Newsom fan. I mean, I'm sure they exist, but you know what I mean? Like a reasonable person.
No, I totally agree. But you don't have to be a fan of your guy as long as the other guy's evil. Then you're fine.
Yep.
And that's, that's the way it worked. I mean, we were fans of Stalin when he was fighting Hitler. All right. I have a video that you guys are going to like, which is a goat and a hawk.
Oh.
I stumbled on this.
And a rooster.
Oh, and a rooster.
Oh.
Wow. Sorry.
I'm
all
all
right. A
ears.
goat, a hawk, and a rooster.
Walk into a bar.
Well, it starts off with a chicken. And then
The hawk decides to swoop down and snatch a chicken.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So the hawk is chasing a chicken around a yard, and it's got it. And then the rooster goes to fight with the hawk. And now a goat comes up and attacks the hawk.
Wow.
I'm shocked the hawk stuck around that long.
The hawk flew off, and the chickens ran into the coop, and the goats hung out. I'm surprised by this.
That was straight out of like a Mel Blanc cartoon.
Yeah, this is Charlotte's Web.
Yeah, this is Foghorn Leghorn.
Animals coming together.
Yeah, like we've heard about dolphins and killer whales and other forms of God's creatures, but goats? What if goats had an allegiance with the chicken? Also kind of weird that the rooster went over there to help out with the chicken. I mean, the hawk swoops down. The hawk swoops down. The other animals are there to get out of the way.
And then the rooster has his pick of God knows how many chickens. Like, it's too bad. I liked her, but oh well.
I mean, maybe, I know nothing about these animals, but maybe the rooster instinctually, because he kind of, he's supposed to like maybe protect the others. But where does the goat come into this equation?
The goat runs over, steamrolls, just does a body slam on the hawk, chases him around, breaks it up, and the hawk realizes he's outnumbered.
And it's not like a dog, like the goat wasn't like, oh, we're all playing. The goat is really trying to be like the bouncer. It wasn't like he was playing with them.
No.
That was
a death
bizarre.
He broke it up.
I love it.
Crazy,
Thank
right?
you for that.
Never seen that.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
I've
seen goats faint.
I hate that.
Who knew that goats had that sort of protective quality to them?
As someone who went on a goat walk in Joshua Tree, they're just like, I mean, I thought they were just dumb, like pack animals. I didn't know they had any fight in them. That was super cool.
I had a sad thought. I bet that clip's out of Europe.
Netherlands.
I knew it. I knew our
Dutch.
goats wouldn't measure up. I knew it. I watched that thing 5 times. I had no thoughts. And just as well, I was like, that's an extraordinary goat.
Dutch
you know what I mean?
goats.
And then I realized their goats are better than ours. They're more educated. They're well-mannered.
Loyal.
They're
Universal
loyal.
health care.
They're protective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look, all it was a patch of grass and a goat and a chicken, and you would...
Could
you
be anywhere.
normally kind of put it in your own country.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And that was my first thought. But as I really started thinking about how extraordinary that goat was, I realized this is a foreign goat. It's
Yeah.
a better goat.
We
You know
should
what I
be
mean?
embarrassed of our goats.
It's kind of like when you hear about, she's a super hot, she's 6 foot tall, she's blonde, she's a D cup, and she's a physicist.
Right.
You go,
Swedish.
wow, where is she? What part of Iowa is she?
Right.
Oh, she's Swedish. You go like,
Some
oh,
Norwegian
okay,
country.
yeah, all
Yeah,
right.
it all
I get
adds
now
up.
it adds up. So it's a foreign goat.
Yeah.
So we can't even really claim that as a victory.
Yeah, Jop Beats, the farmer, says, I was so proud of the rooster and the goat jumping in to defend our chicken, and I was also very relieved that the chicken survived.
In perfect English, he said that.
Right. And then that night, ate chicken.
Delicious.
All right. Let's see. We got Danny Two Sheets coming up in a second. It's got all these great Norm stories. I got the Vandersloot thing to play for you guys as well. First, I'll tell you about Tommy John. Tommy John, Apollo, their newest, most advanced men's underwear. Performance grade, dry release fabric blend exclusive to Tommy John. You can't get it anywhere else. Apollo men's underwear, proven to keep you drier and up to 7 degrees cooler than regular cotton underwear. No more sticking or chafing. Soft, supportive, stretches for the perfect fit. Available in sizes up to 4XL. Over 15 million pairs sold. Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics. I'm wearing mine now. Once you get into Tommy John, you will not go to another brand. You won't go back to your old stuff. And like all Tommy John underwear, Apollo comes with the best pair you'll ever wear. Or it's free, guarantee, right, Dawson?
Right now, get 20% off your first order at TommyJohn.com/Adam. Go to TommyJohn.com/Adam for 20% off. TommyJohn.com/Adam. See site for details.
All right, we'll take a quick break. Come back with Daniel Kellison, who's worked a lot with Norm, to tell us some stories right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, man. I thought I'd call and let you know that I know how much you love Love Boat, and in a 1986 episode, The Ship Shade Cruise, the woman who plays Angela, the actress's name is Lana Clarkson, and it's the woman that Phil Spector shot and killed in 2003 and spent the rest of his life in jail for. I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't know if you saw that episode or if you're going to watch it now and let us know how you feel about it. Peace.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Well, Barry Sonnenfeld is going to direct us, our filmmaker is going to join us in a little bit. Got some other clips to play in Norm, but first, someone who was there in person, Danny Two Sheets Kellison. Daniel?
Mr. Carolla.
Hey, first, good to talk to you, buddy. You're going to the wedding this weekend, right?
I am going to the wedding this weekend.
Oh, okay. So,
Are you?
Hell yeah.
All right.
Looking forward to
Are you offering me a flight on a private plane again?
No, I'm not. I'll be seeing you at LAX on Friday, I think.
Yeah. Southwest, right?
I really have. I'm so goddamn busy. I haven't checked into it, but all right. We'll have a few beers this weekend. Have a good time.
Of course.
So Norm, well, let's go back with your history of Norm. You were always a big Norm fan, for sure. But when did you come across Norm at Letterman?
I was in. I worked at Letterman out of college. I mean, you know all this stuff, but I'll tell everybody else. Immediately, became, not immediately, but within a couple of years, became a producer there and was in charge of booking comedians. And I loved Norm and produced his first segment on there, but he, at the time, wanted to be a writer on Saturday Night Live. And he gives credit to Adam Sandler, probably correctly, but I also called Jim Downey who's the head writer over there, and said, "Hey, this guy, he's pretty brilliant. You should meet with him, Norm." And he did, and Norm became a writer there. So that sort of began our relationship. And then, from there, I left Letterman after 8 years and moved back to 30 Rockefeller Plaza, where we started at Letterman. But now I was sort of 8 floors below Norm, who was at Saturday Night Live, and I was miserably producing Rosie O'Donnell's show. And we saw quite a bit of each other.
Norm.
I actually have a pretty funny story that I think you'll enjoy.
Daniel, can I ask this quickly? Yep. When you produced Norm's first segment for Letterman, was it a stand-up hit?
It was a stand-up, yeah.
Okay.
But here's the thing also, like, I don't take any, there's no sort of like discovery here, because this was a guy who was, everybody who saw him discovered him. He was, was way above everybody else in terms of his abilities.
Yeah, totally agree. So, sorry, tell us the story.
Well, the story is, I got to know Norm pretty well, and, he liked to torture people. He liked to be a contrarian, but he also liked to sort of torture people. And he was, at the time, knowing that I was Rosie, and he'd come and visit me in my offices all the time. And Rosie was very popular. He would make tons of jokes about her, girth. Mm-hmm. And it really like hurt Rosie's feelings quite a lot. And she loved Norm, as did everyone. And I said, well, let me talk to him. He's a reasonable guy. He's a nice guy. And so I said to Norm, Norm, you could be on the show, on Rosie's show all the time, and you sort of broaden your net here a little bit and appeal to some women. And I think this could be a good thing for you. And I think you just have to stop making all the fat jokes about Rosie. And he said, no, you're right. And he agreed. And I told Rosie, who was like, really happy. And the next night, Norm went on Conan, and, immediately started writing in, and he said, this Rosie O'Donnell show is quite the phenomenon. And Conan sort of gamely agreed. And then immediately started, he said, have you seen there are all these flowers lining the hallway, their dressing room, which was true. There were. And Conan said, no, I know, it's amazing. And Norm said, I didn't know you could eat flowers. And
Jesus Christ.
And that was sort of that. That was like Norm was never on the show, and that was the end of that.
That seems to be the pattern. Like with like we talked about him, he wouldn't stop doing OJ jokes on SNL, and they told him not to, and he just doesn't care, or maybe he's doing it to spite the people asking him not to.
Some comedians. Yeah.
Go ahead, Adam.
I was going to say, a lot of comedians have an oppositional defiance disorder. You tell them not to do something, and they pretty much just must do it.
He was a comedic contrarian for sure, and that was sort of his whole thing. And he felt an obligation to always sort of take that minority position. And I think, he used to, he would extol the virtues of Charles Manson, or, he would, Adam Egget, who you guys probably know, who was sort of Adam's trusty sidekick on our show. Adam was a Jew, and Norm would tell guests on the show that Adam was actually an ardent Holocaust denier.
Oh my God.
And like he would sort of delight. I think I don't know there's a videotape which will really sum up Norm that you can find on YouTube, where it's Norm shits on his producer, and some lunatic compiled all the times Norm has said crazy things about me. But one of the clips I was watching yesterday, and I can be filthy on your show, right, Adam?
Go ahead.
He said that my wife Diane demanded that I spit in her face during sex, and would imagine she was blowing a large African-American man. He told Gilbert Gottfried this on the show.
But, nobody held it against him, right? Like, you didn't unfriend him after that.
I find it hilarious, and I laughed at the time. I mean, it was just sort of like, he really was trying his best to, knock over the apple cart,
I'm looking down at my notes here. It says you tried to set up Norm with Mia Farrow.
That's true.
What?
What year?
I I got to know Mia Farrow as I got to, when I was a letterman, I was producing everybody every day, and it'd be Jimmy Carter or Luciano Pavarotti or, authors or comedians or chefs. And I got to know Mia Farrow pretty well. And, I actually have a picture, which I'll show you sometime, Adam, of me ice skating with her and Mike Judge.
That is the greatest thing.
I told Norm that I'd become friendly with me, and he's like, "Oh my God, she's so beautiful." I'm like, "Well, she's single. Would you want to go out with her?" And he goes, "Oh my God, yeah, of course." But she'd never want to go out with me. So I called Mia up and I said, "Would you ever go out on a date with Norm Macdonald?" And Norm was sort of at the height of his fame, and she said, "Absolutely." But Norm got nervous and chickened out, and never went on the date. But it would have been great if you think about it. Sinatra and Woody Allen and Andre Previn and Norm. I mean, it would have been such the perfect, lineup.
Yeah,
but it never happened.
A lot of range. So, you, obviously, you had to kind of wrangle Norm, right? Like, you had to kind of get him to do stuff. Like he wasn't. Well, you couldn't, and that was part of it. And part of when we did our the Norm Macdonald show that we ended up selling to Netflix, the pitch to him was, the best version of Norm is the one where he's uncensored and nobody tells him what to do. And that was sort of the show that I pitched him. I'm like, you can do whatever you want. You can have whatever guest you want. It doesn't matter, who it is. And it was frustrating at times because we'd have Adam Sandler or Jim Carrey or Letterman or Seinfeld on there. But then, I'd say, "Hey, do you want Seth Rogen on the show?" And he'd be like, "I don't know who Seth Rogen is." I'm like, "Well, he's kind of the biggest movie star in comedy right now in the world." And we probably did know who he was. He just didn't find anything interesting. And we'd end up with, I'm trying to think of who he'd have on. Jack Carter instead, Jack Carter, yeah. The song.
He was way more interested in that. And by the way, that would be a better interview.
Yeah. Have you heard anything about a memorial, wake, that kind of stuff?
I'm talking to Adam Egan right now. I'm trying to see about putting one together, and I'm sure there will be one. And I'm sure you can come to it. I'm trying to. We're talking about it right now, actually. I'm going to call him after I'm done with you. We've been going back and forth about it.
Hey, Daniel, I'm guessing the answer is no, but did you know that Norm was sick? Did you have an idea how bad it was?
No, I had no idea at all. And, a lot of our mutual friends, Sarah Silverman texted me yesterday and said, "Did you know Norm was sick?" And I said, I knew Norm was, historically even unwell because he would, eat 20 egg whites covered in ketchup or, endless buckets of fried chicken or eat Twizzlers and drink Cokes. And, he wasn't a healthy guy, but I didn't know he was sick. And I don't think he wanted anyone to know he was sick.
I'm just wondering, I guess, hypothetically, how if you're that sick, you can hide it. Even you don't have to tell anyone, but there would be things that are noticeable. I mean, I guess when you really don't leave your house, it's harder to tell. But how would one hide that?
Well, Norm was sort of famous for not showing up places, and now you can attribute some of that maybe to this. He would He would turn down movie parts. He would turn down roles and things. He would not show up sometimes. And in fact, when we did the sports show at Comedy Central, that was their number one concern, that he wouldn't show up. And I was like, no, he's pretty good about this, and I'll take responsibility, and he'll be there, and Lloyd Joe will watch over too. And he did. But, that first sports show that we did, the first taping, I don't know whether now I look back and wonder whether he was actually, beginning cancer treatment, because he was, curled up in a ball, and he said he was nervous and all these things, but I wonder whether he was sick. I don't know.
Brian?
What's interesting is I think back now on obviously we all do on Norm, but like over the last 10 years, like I would see him on occasion like, oh, Norm's put on a little weight. In retrospect, Norm had what we call in the cancer world, he had moon face.
Yeah.
He had like steroid face. Because
Puffy.
I don't know what kind of cancer he had. Someone tweeted me like, oh, he had brain cancer. I don't know. But they'll
I don't
give
think
you...
I don't think it's been announced what kind he's had.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
No,
I
but
still don't know.
you're right in that Jerry Lewis had that. There's medications that sort of float your head
if
up.
they give you the steroids. If they give you the steroids, which stop the swelling from the chemo or the radiation or whatever.
Ironically, because you really do swell up.
It'll make your face like a moon face.
Right.
Yeah. I think that I think Brian, you might be right, but I'm not sure.
Daniel, I'm looking at my screen. I was trying to tell the wake-up call story with Norm that always made me laugh, but it was so long ago. I don't know if I got the nuts and the bolts of it from him at the Montreal Comedy Festival. Do you recall that story?
I recall that it wasn't. It wasn't. I don't think at the Montreal Festival, but it was. Well, maybe it was. Yeah, he asked for. A 10 o'clock wake up because he had to be somewhere. And the guy on the phone said, 10 o'clock tomorrow? And he goes, no, 10 o'clock. Wait, what do you mean? He goes, well, it's 11 o'clock now. And Norm was like, God damn it. You know, like he was, I think that's it. Is that right?
There's some version.
Both versions are good.
August wrote me a version too.
August wrote the version.
Yeah, so August said,
let's how to clear it up.
We played poker all night at the Montreal Comedy Fest, and Norm had to catch a plane home first thing in the morning. At some point, he returns to his hotel room and calls downstairs to the front desk asking for a 7 a.m. wake-up call. The hotel employee informs Norm that the time is 6:59 a.m. Norm replies, oh, well, I better hang up then so you can call me back.
That's the punchline, yeah. That's how I had it.
Listen, edit out the part where I fumble through that. That's
no, it's fine.
Your version's good, too.
I had a close to version of that from yesterday. All right, Danny, 2 sheets. We're going to see you this weekend, man.
Yeah. And by the way, I would add this. I would like to say this about Norm and compare him to Adam for a moment, if I could. Is that both Norm and Adam reminded me a lot of each other, in that they have a unique genius to their comedy, that they think differently than anybody on the planet, and what they say, sometimes unpopular, they can make perfect sense because they're so smart and funny about it. And you know, Norm always reminded me of you, Adam, and I really think you are also one of the funniest people I've ever known. And I'll say it before anything ever happens. But I would just like to add that. And, you know, that's it. That's all I want to say.
Thanks, Buzzaboo. We'll see you this weekend. I appreciate the kind words. And, yes, Norm shall be missed. Thanks, Daniel. See you soon.
And you shared a very important role on Family Guy.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that, but people pointed out that we both played Death.
You took his job.
I took his job. We have, well, if you want to hear Norm and I work together, we have this Vandersloot clip from the KLSX days. Was it Natalie Holloway who was missing?
Sounds about right.
Over there?
And Joran Vandersloot was the prime suspect.
Yep.
Yes, and somehow it was pure improv. We didn't plan it. It was just sort of like the Kenny Rogers, Ruby and stuff. We go back and listen to it. Through the prism of time, you go, oh, Norm came in and then we were agreed to do the Kenny Rogers bit or something. We were talking about something else. Sure. And then we were playing Blah, Blah, Blog with Norm, and then we stumbled into, he brought up like Kenny Rogers or Ruby or something, and we just went right into it. Think it was the same thing here with Vandersloot. We do a little role playing, and
it's so fun.
Enjoy this clip from the great Norm Macdonald.
Back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Welcome back to Celebrity Jeopardy.
Yeah, check out the podium. Look at this.
Mr. Reynolds has apparently changed his name to Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, that's right. Turd Ferguson. It's a funny name.
This is the sound a doggy makes. Burt Reynolds.
That's not my name.
Okay. Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, what do you want?
Norm Macdonald is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Everybody loves Norm Macdonald. Every comedian I ever talk to, whenever Norm's name comes up, goes, wow, yeah, he's funny. And then they pause and they go, it's a shame.
That guy sounds hot. Why do you do that?
The general consensus is Norm, funniest guy on the planet.
I was listening to Javier earlier.
Right,
Yeah.
Bardem.
What?
Yeah, Javier Bardem.
You know, really cares about his last name.
That's
Sorry.
true.
But no, he was saying like this is a little pet peeve of mine, where he's saying like how the endings can be ambiguous to movies. I hate that more than anything.
You like an ending?
Yeah, and the worst one was Lost in Translation. Did you ever see that?
Yes.
He whispers to her, and you don't know what he says, and you're supposed to guess.
I know, and I'm guessing he didn't really actually say anything.
Right, exactly. The screenwriters had nothing to say.
No, you know what he probably whispered? Can you believe this slow funeral dirge is going to be nominated for Best Original Screenplay? This bore fest is going to be nominated? I can't believe it.
I've heard that it was just one word, and he whispered into her ear, suckers.
That movie made me angry because I thought it was well shot and it looked interesting, but watching Bill Murray slip into a coma for 97 minutes does not make Best Original Screenplay.
Is that what, did it win?
It was nominated for Best Original Screenplay.
Wow.
I don't think it won.
I don't either,
but it was definitely nominated.
It did win, but I'll find out.
Wait, did you not like There Will Be Blood?
I just saw that. What did you think, Norm?
Because, I bump both those guys.
Javier's got stiff competition, though. Hal Holbrook, Into the Wild. Good. How dare you?
What? Hal Holbrook?
He's a distinguished actor.
He died in 89.
He's still alive. He's very much
not
alive.
working anymore.
You know, he got pistol whipped in Hancock Park where he lived.
Really?
Yeah, him and his wife, Dixie Carter.
Yeah.
They got apparently Hancock Park is right on the border of a dangerous area.
Yeah, that's the area where I used to live.
Oh, it is? So it's a dangerous area,
Koreatown.
right?
Well, she actually lived in the dangerous
These weren't
area.
Koreans, I'll tell you that broke into his house.
They broke in.
Yeah, they broke into his house, held him hostage, him and Delta Burke, and pistol whipped him. I don't know
it wasn't Delta Burke. It was Dixie.
No, I mean Dixie Carter.
They were both designing women, so I see where Norm's coming from.
Yeah, Dixie Carter.
Meshack Taylor ran in at the last minute and saved the day with a fruity vest.
Annie Potts was very upset about the whole thing.
And by the way, if those of you who aren't from this area, pistol whipped in Hancock Park sounds like some threat a cop's going to make to you when he's going to toss you in the hole with the gay guys. Listen, Brewster, you keep this up and you'll be pistol whipped in Hancock Park, all right? I'll hear your screams coming down the hall. Oh, you won't sit for a week, my brother, when you pistol whipped in Hancock Park. Yeah, Hancock Park is
Sounds like something Joran Vandersloot might do.
It does. That's the most evil name in a while.
Except, yeah, it is evil, isn't it? Especially when Patrick says it.
Somebody, by the way, like when you hear Johan Vandersloot call the chick he dragged out to the ocean because she passed out from booze on the sand a slut or a bitch, it makes me want to pull his parents aside and go, look, Missy, come over here, drop your underpants. I'm going to need to take this Duraflame log and wedge it into you so that you can never procreate again. You guys are officially the worst parents on the planet. And they'll be like, what about the inner city kids that shoot at the chicks behind the counter at the Korean market? Yeah, but they want money.
Right.
Your son does it for sport.
The Vandersloots had to have been pretty bad parents.
I don't know. I think he just made it all up because, to me, the frightening guy was Patrick.
Which one?
Patrick was the guy that talked to Joran and got
He was the guy who answered the phone.
Sting.
Hey, why don't you be Johan and I'll be Patrick, right? Because the phone call came at like 1 a.m. Patrick's just sitting around watching a little YouTube and blowing a spleef. Hello?
We're playing a game?
Yeah. It's called improv.
Wait a minute.
Please try your call again later.
Hello?
Wait, they were in a van. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Johan or Jorn or what? Vandersloot.
Yeah, Vandersloot.
He takes the chick down to the beach.
No, I'm not. Patrick is the guy. Is the guy in
There
the
was a
van.
sting, and he befriended
Oh,
Jan
that guy.
to record him.
Oh, he's not the worst guy in the world. The worst guy in the world is the guy who answered the phone because he walked to a payphone.
Yeah, that helped him out, you mean?
And he was like, hey, it's 12:45 at night, and this high schooler's passed down the beach. I need your help,
I can
buddy.
Do that. Okay, I'll
All right,
do
you want to do that?
Okay.
So you be Vandersloot. I'll be the guy.
Wait, I thought I was...
Yeah, you're Vandersloot.
But earlier you were Vandersloot.
No, you were No, you call me.
Okay, I'll be Vandersloot.
Yeah, now you're at a payphone outside of Marriott. The chick is just falling asleep on the beach.
Yeah.
And I'm just hanging out watching TV.
Yeah.
All right.
What's your name again? Dory.
He's got a weird name, like Dory. Yeah. Right. I let it ring a little bit because I don't want you to think I'm desperate. Plus, it's late. I shouldn't even be up. One more time. Hello?
Dowry, is this you?
Hey, Vandersloot, what's happening?
Hey, listen, buddy, I'm in some trouble, man.
What's up?
I'm calling you from a payphone. I realize it's year 2006.
What, do you need to borrow some money or something? What happened to that cell phone? Yeah, anyway, what do you need? You need to borrow 20 spot?
Now, this is the thing, man.
What'd you do, vomit on your shirt or something? You need a new shirt?
No, I met a hot lady.
All right.
Yeah, down at the casino.
Uh-huh.
And I brought her to a remote section of the beach. You know how I work.
Right. I know your M.O.
Yeah.
What do you need, a condom or a roofie or something?
No, I already have those. I've already used those.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, I mean, this girl wanted it bad.
Yeah, cool.
You know
what do you need, a
talking
towel or something?
Nah, that's not it. You remember that boat you had?
We need some water-soluble lube.
No.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
over with. It was a hot.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I got a boat. What of it?
I was wondering if I could borrow it for a while.
Why? What do you want me to do with the boat?
Well, she may be she may be dead or in a coma.
Right.
And I was thinking we throw her in the chuck.
Oh, so we toss her in the boat? And what? Like drive her to a hospital?
No. What about the ocean? The bottom of the ocean.
Floating hospital? Davy Jones' locker?
Davy Jones' locker.
Wow, you're a 20-year-old guy who knows that reference, but yet no cell phone. Interesting dichotomy. So let me get this straight. You met a chick at Carlos and Pepe's.
Yeah, she was hot. I did a jello shot off her belly.
You did a jello shot. You dropped a digit on her on the beach, and now you want me to drag her into the ocean and throw her in because she's passed out?
Yeah, but I don't want to go. I don't want to go with
cool.
you. Is it cool if I don't go with you?
So hold on a second. Because a minute ago I was watching the Honeymooners and enjoying a Zima. Now you want me to get up, pop on the Hirachis, head down to the beach?
Yeah.
Are you going to help me load her onto the boat?
No, I got to get home.
Okay, so let me just digest this for a second. She may or may not be dead.
She will be, though.
Okay, but as of now, she may still have a pulse.
Yeah, I can't tell.
Okay, so you want me to swing by, but you won't be there, and then I should grab her and drag her across the sand and then toss her onto my boat and then drag her a couple kilometers off the shore and then dump her in the ocean and then go back home, and you're going to be where?
And what you do with her before that's up to you.
No, you're beeswax.
Yeah, between two consenting adults, I don't care.
I think they call it a perk in the business. But, all right, and you're going to be doing what while I do this?
Oh, I'm going to be going home. They got a honeymooners marathon.
Okay, so you're not going to help me roll the corpse into my boat or anything?
I don't got that kind of time, man.
Okay.
I'm a little spent.
All right, buddy. So which lifeguard station would she be at?
She's just by the payphone.
Okay. She's by the payphone?
She's under a mangrove tree.
Oh, there's none of them in Aruba. I'll go to the one place where there's a mangrove tree. Awesome. All right, buddy. But hey, listen. Next time we go out to breakfast, you're buying.
This has been a wonderful reenactment.
I was never more angry in my life because I call one of my buddies and like, hey, dude, I need a ride to the airport. F you. It's only Burbank. F off. Well, Christ, you live right by me. Suck it. Well, geez, it's right on the way to work. No way. Well, goddamn, I'm leasing you the car. I don't care. This guy's the world's greatest friend, isn't he?
He is a good friend.
In some ways.
Good Lord.
Oh, wait a minute. Flavor Flav is on the phone. Holy Christ.
Hey, really?
Yeah, Flavor Flav.
Yo, yo, yo.
I'm sorry you had to wait through that reenactment. There you go. The late, great Norm Macdonald. And I don't spend a ton of time in the rearview mirror, but it is nice to know that somebody was rolling tape when Norm popped in and out, and we're able to kind of freeform it with him, you know. And I was talking to Tim Conway Jr. Yesterday, and, you know, we all had this feeling, and no one really wants to say it, but when somebody leaves us soon, too soon, you know, it's funny that it's kind of interesting that we're all sort of narcissists, you know, by nature. And so when somebody dies, you mourn that person, but you also kind of mourn what it does to you.
Yeah.
How does that affect me? You know what I mean? I mean, all you got to do is, I mean, this shit, you have kids, you go, it's on full display. You know, you go, look, if something happens to me, you know, do I get your cars? I mean, they're like, they don't take a 3 Mississippi. They just want to know they're taken care of. And so I was thinking about a Norm Macdonald or an Eddie Van Halen. And I was telling Tim, I was like, Norm Macdonald, Eddie Van Halen, I still had use for them. I had stuff for them to do for me.
Yeah.
I would like to go see Van Halen in concert or have Norm come on as a guest or whatever. You know what I mean? If you think about it, because Anna Nicole Smith died a lot younger than they did, we had no use for her.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, it's like, that's not going to impact me.
Right.
I've seen the Playboy. We're done. Like, it's sad, but that's kind of how you do it. And then Tim laughed because, you know,
It's quite a eulogy.
No. But it was my dad's 90th birthday, and I said, I didn't have any use for my dad after 1973.
Boy, the difference between the use for your dad and the use for Tim's dad is the whole chasm.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You are so right. All right, let me tell you about J.B. Weld. J.B. Weld, world's strongest bond. Pros have trusted it for over 50 years, and don't worry about being a pro. You got J.B. Weld. Make your life easier. Proud to have J.B. Weld as an epoxy, as a sponsor here. Their epoxy adhesive as a sponsor. Personally, I know the owner. Hung out with them at SEMA. Met the man in SEMA, invited him to come on and be a sponsor, and here they are. So if you have DIY projects or auto or crafts or marine use, wood, metal, plastics, ceramics, keep it in your drawer or craft supplies in the garage. I was using JB Weld to fix Sonny's tennis shoe, and then I moved on to Natalia's cold roller. Then I moved on to a piece of stone threshold in front of my house.
Oh, you just move around the neighborhood fixing.
Yes, I'm a gypsy.
You're a marauding fixer.
Have JB Weld will travel. JB Weld, by the way, also acquired Herculiner, the original DIY truck bed liner. So if you're looking for the world's strongest truck bed liner, you can go with when I say Herculiner. Yeah. For those of you who are DIYers, and a lot of people are doing a lot of off-roading and a lot of glamping and stuff like that.
Bring it with you.
Get that bed lined out. Yeah.
I imagine this would come in handy at the racetrack. You know, you're constantly trying to fix these on the fly or, you know, get this part in or whatever.
If only somebody hadn't cut the zip tie that was holding up my race suit. Oh, you could JB Weld that zip tie back together.
Yeah, now, as much as I love JB Weld, the zip ties are 20 cents, so I probably would have dedicated another one. But
did you have one?
Probably not. In a world... In a throwaway world where the landfills are just getting filled up with all the junk that is out of date and whatever, they fix things and reuse them, repurpose them. And I like I said, I bought Natalia her stupid cold roller. I mean, I didn't know I bought it, but I'm sure
ultimately
my money that bought it. And the handle snapped right in half, and somebody was probably primed to hop on Amazon and grab a new one, but I went down to the garage. Also, two things I will say. certain satisfaction in doing stuff. Do not. I came home the other day. I said, Olga, what's for dinner? She said, I got all the salmon that you caught in Alaska, and I'm cooking it up. And I was like, cooking up the salmon I caught.
Yeah.
Felt good.
And if you want to talk about J.B. Weld, boy, I should have been using that the last 2 months of gluing programs together, gluing, all I do is spray paint wicker for the last month for the wedding. But seriously, I should have been using J.B. Weld.
Well, again, it's the world's strongest bond. It is J.B. Weld, right, Dawson?
J.B. Weld is available at jbweld.com, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, AutoZone, Advance Auto Parts, Napa, O'Reilly, Amazon, Michaels, and more. And remember, J.B. Weld epoxy products are proudly made in the USA. J.B. Weld, world's strongest bond.
Well, filmmaker and director and
cinematographer.
According to Kalen, shot 9 porn movies right out of cinematography school or wherever he was trained back in the 70s.
We're not going to get to his book, are we?
No. And then I said to Kalen, well, what movies? What are the titles? What are the stories?
What are the stories?
Oh, they're stories.
How did you use that, Dolly?
The cable goes out. Plumbing stops working.
Oh, it's got to do with plumbing.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
It's a plumbing
Plumbing
story.
the depths.
So we'll take a quick break. We'll talk to Barry right after this.
It's time for Nicaraguan Name That Movie with Adam's buddy Oswaldo. See if you can guess which movie this famous line is from.
E.T. Phong Hong, E.T. Phong Hong.
If you said E.T. the extraterrestrial,
E.T. Phong Hong, E.T. Phong Hong,
you're correct. Now, back to the show.
Barry Sonenfeld, our guest, has got a book out. It's called Barry Sonnenfeld, Call Your Mother, Memoirs of a Neurotic Filmmaker. And it's available now on Amazon. I think it just came out in paperback on Tuesday. Good to see you, Barry.
Good to see you guys.
So we got lots to talk about.
You bet.
Cinematography, Raising Arizona. That's one of my favorite films. And cinematography was kind of a revelation to me because I never really saw that before, certainly in that genre. Can we talk a little about those creative days?
Yeah. So, I met Joel Coen by accident at a party a couple years earlier when they were trying to make Blood Simple, which was their first movie. And they were going to shoot a trailer as if it was a finished movie and use the trailer to raise $750,000. And I said to Joel, I own a camera. And he said, you're hired. So that's how I got to meet the Coens, because they were cheap. Raising Arizona, here's the thing, as you'll learn from my book, I am an only child of Jewish persuasion, which means I need all the attention in the room. So what I did as a cameraman is I used the camera as a character. So in Raising Arizona, the camera does a lot of wacky things that you don't normally see a camera doing. And that's just my way of saying, hey, here I am.
A lot of the stuff was, kind of unorthodox at the time. And I find that when you are innovating at the beginning, people fight you a lot because it's as simple as that's not how we do it. It's my parsley by the side of the plate. You go, why do we need all this parsley at this diner? Because that's what we do.
That's how it's done.
But no one eats it. Right. No one likes it. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. That's how my dad did it. You know what I mean? So when you were trying to do some of those shots, or at least discussing a lot of that stuff, did they fight you on it? Did they let you run free?
Luckily, Joel, Ethan, and I worked up the film business together. In fact, the first day on Blood Simple was the first day that Joel, Ethan, or I had ever been on a movie set. Joel was never a director or assistant director. I was never an assistant cameraman. Literally the first day on a feature film was the first day of filming Blood Simple. So we had nothing to lose. You know, Blood Simple had a lot of sort of self-conscious cinematography as well. Same with Raising Arizona. And Joe and Ethan always make sort of inexpensive movies, so they have total control. The studios let them do whatever they want because they don't cost very much.
Go ahead, Brian.
What were the limitations you faced on Blood Simple? I mean, it's a debut for the directors. It's a small budget, I'm assuming. It looks both rough around the edges, but also polished. Like it's very unique. What were some of the challenges you faced on that one?
Well, the challenges were that we had never done it before. I mean, literally.
What else?
In a way, it's easier to make $100 million movie than a $1 million movie because they can't. If you go over budget on a $100 million movie, what are they going to do? Not give you the money to finish the movie? But on an independent movie for $750,000, that's all we had. Plus, our investors hated the movie. We showed them a cut, and literally more than half walked out of the movie theater before it was over. Yeah. It was in fact, the first good screening we ever had was the New York Film Festival accepted it in, and I convinced Joe and Ethan to go to the back of the theater and watch the critics watch it, and they said, "Oh God, don't make us watch that movie one more time." But as we were walking to the back of the theater, we heard laughter, and Joel literally said, "We're in the wrong theater." This was the first good screening we ever had. So that's Joel and Ethan.
Yeah, the other thing I just want to add to that is someone who's made some low-budget movies, which is, it's harder to make the cheap stuff, but it's really the time. You don't have the time. You cannot, if something's not working, you don't have the time to really fix it or go scout another location you just have to make it work. You have to improvise and figure out, because you need to shoot this and then you need to turn the page.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Gina, sorry.
Going back to Raising Arizona for a minute, because it's one of my all-time favorite movies as well. I don't want this to be like a magician giving away his secrets. So if it is, please stop me. But there were so many like innovative things that wasn't like, it's just a comedy. It was a weird comedy. And I mean that with the utmost respect. So I'm just wondering, like, say in the dream sequence where you see you know what I'm going to say, the motorcycle go up the ladder. How did you do that?
You know, we always say that we could remake Blood Simple for 10 times the cost and it wouldn't be 1/3 as good. Now we'd use techno cranes and visual effects and CGI. But there's a shot where Nick Cage is dreaming and the camera goes across the front driveway of Nathan Arizona's house. And it goes over a fountain, over a car, up a ladder, through a window, and into Florence, Arizona's mouth as she turns to the camera and screams, discovering her baby has been kidnapped. So a lot of that is a device called the Shaky Cam, which is literally Joe at one end and me at the other end of a 2x12 board with a camera mounted in the middle with a very wide angle lens. Joe on one side, me on the other side. The camera is suspended halfway across this board. And we just ran towards the car, lifted the board up, kept running over the fountain, went up the ladder. And, no one's looking through the camera. We're just guessing where we're aiming. But now we would use something called a technocrane. That the whole day would be that shot. So that was one of probably 27 shots we did that day.
Wow.
Did you guys, I'm just springing it on everybody, but Hard Knocks Training Camp, which I love that
the
show.
Drone shot.
The drone
Great
shot. I don't know, Barry, if you saw that, but
no.
And speaking of where we're at with technology now, they mounted up a little GoPro onto a drone. And they took this drone from the opening of the facility of the Texas Stadium, and they just flew it all the way across. They went through a statue. They went into the facility. They turned the corner.
It was a show-off shot, but they earned it. It was very good.
It was an amazing. I think Chris can find it. I mean, watch 20 seconds of it, but it would have technically been impossible to do a few years ago. Now it's $500 worth of stuff. But someone who can fly a goddamn drone, we'll just show it to you. You can look at it, Barry.
Right. Yeah.
Starts off 500 feet in the air, drops down into this massive football facility.
Goes through this structure.
Goes through
the statue.
a statue.
Right.
Continues on down this road, and you keep looking for the seams in it, but it's one continuous shot weaving in and out of trees and parked cars and joggers,
human beings
flying past everything. You know, eventually literally enters the facility and goes up and around through the meeting rooms and the theaters. I mean, it's absolutely, I think it goes through the window of a Ford truck
Here it comes.
There it goes. I mean, it's mind-numbing. You guys should all,
Right.
you guys can go on the internet and look at it. It was kind of funny because I don't know if you watched the credits, Brian.
I did. I saw the biffed one.
But in the credit, they showed one where it hit the statue and never made it off the launching pad.
Well, actually, looking at the shot, a drone would have been a really good idea for that shot in Raising Arizona. And I'm so jealous of the DPs I work with now because lighting is so different. You know, everyone uses LEDs, which are, you know, you can tape a light under a steering wheel. You know, you can place lights where you could never place them previously. You can dim lights and it doesn't change the color temperature. It's a whole different world of technology than it was 30 years ago when we made that movie.
It's the only thing the first thing that comes to mind is like Jim Henson. You had these analog Muppets with your hand in the suit and you're doing everything. And now it can all be done on the computer.
Right, exactly.
I'll go on a limb without doing any research whatsoever. Were you influenced by Rear Window? Because there was a great long shot just like that.
I was not influenced by any movies at all. I was not a movie buff. I still haven't seen Rear Window. I hear it's good.
Oh, no. What?
I hear it's good.
It's a classic.
Yeah, okay.
Take your word for it.
Yeah, next time do your research.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was embarrassing.
Hey, listen, I just directed the show for Apple Coach Schmigadoon, and I hate musicals, and it was a 6-part musical, so that doesn't stop me from working.
Let me just Google real quick. Has Barry Sonnenfeld seen Rear Window?
Please.
I'm not a bet
Do your
woman,
research.
but I'm going to bet you've never seen Brigadoon that it's based on.
I'll tell you the truth. When I started pre-production on Schmigadoon, I watched Brigadoon. I watched all these musicals, and I kept saying to the creator of our show, Cinco Paul, I kept saying, I don't get it. Why do people like suddenly sing? It makes, and even when we were shooting, you know, we would rehearse and I would say to Cinco, do we need this dance number? So I was so the wrong guy for the show, but it worked out fine.
Well, let's get back to a genre I enjoy, the porn genre.
Now we're talking.
As I was talking to our segment producer, Kalen, and he said that according to what he found on the internet, your first job after graduating college was shooting 9 feature-length pornos in 9 days.
Yep.
You know, was that New York?
Yeah. We built sets on in a loft on 17th Street and 5th Avenue, just 6th Avenue, actually, a block away from Barney's. I had just gotten out of graduate film school and I bought a used 16 millimeter camera. This is pre-video. And it's an entire disgusting chapter in the book. It's called Cum Shot, An Actress Short, A Cum Shot Behind is the title of the chapter, which some people may want to skip. But
I should add it to my queue.
But what I did was I bought this used 16 millimeter camera so that I could call myself a cameraman without feeling like being a dilettante. And the guy I bought it with knew this porn producer and got us this job shooting 9 feature-length porns in 9 days, which is a porn a day.
What year was that, approximately?
Let's see, 50, 63, 73, 76?
76. So
pre-video.
Sure. Now, that is first off, any notables on the set? Anybody we may have seen?
Barry Sonnenfeld.
Two. No. I was behind the camera. Two. Ron Jeremy, who's recently in the news.
There you go.
He actually was. It was so disgusting filming him because he has a short torso and a long penis and can give himself a blowjob.
Oh, good
so
for him.
That someone
He's going to be relying on that for the next several years.
Yeah, no, exactly. But and also Robin Bird. Remember Robin Bird?
Yeah, of course,
Yes.
New York. Yeah.
Yeah, that was before her talk show.
I hate to tell you this, but those movies are not on your IMDb credits.
You know what? I don't even know their names.
Well, but it was kind of bohemian back then.
Yeah.
It was like a New York thing. There's a lot of like actors who did it. It wasn't.
That was the era of Deep Throat.
Yeah, it was not. It was not the San Fernando Valley and runaways strung out on drugs. Some of these were like art students and acting students. And if you look back on some of that stuff, a lot of the guys were pretty average dudes. They didn't have that, save Ron
Star
Jeremy,
quality.
but they didn't have that look or some of the accoutrements that a lot of porn stars have these days.
Yeah, our cast was pretty inexpensive. We had no stars at all, except for Ron and kind of Robin, but not really.
Now, I know there's a fairly disgusting story that's in the book.
Yeah.
That, far be it from me to offend the audience. But on the other hand, I don't feel like I'd be doing my job as a podcaster if I didn't
a journalist.
delve into this story.
I'll give you the punchline, and then you'll tell me if you want to hear the story. The punchline is at the end of this cum shot, I was covered in liquefied, loamy, warm human excrement.
I
So
would
do you
like to
wanna
hear the story.
Okay, sure. The thing about our producer is he managed to always find the most unerotic way to shoot these scenes. It was shockingly unerotic. Like we did a scene where a couple made love inside a bathtub filled with 50 pounds of spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah.
Which is disgusting.
I'm with you. Please, first things first.
Why?
John Waters shit.
Does somehow people think it's erotic? Like even the whipped cream, and we're going to make a sundae on top of her belly. It's weird. It's gooey. And by the way, it's the same way I feel about, once in a while there's a chick goes, I pop a Mentos before I give a guy a blowjob. It's like, I'll just have the blowjob. That's enough.
It doesn't need to be effervescent.
It's good. It's good. It's not broken.
Yeah.
Good-looking people having sex is not broken. Keep the food out of the way.
Keep the food out of the way. So Dick decided to do this double insertion, a man in this woman's vagina and another man in her rectum.
Sure.
And the actress for the double insertion didn't show up. So Dick went across the street to Barney's and found a woman who was a tailor and convinced her she wanted to be in a porno.
Whoa.
So we had this amateur actress doing this double insertion. And the way Dick did it is he took a dining room table and took the middle leaf out of the dining room table and so the woman is sort of sway back, laying on the table. So there's a man on top of the table in her vagina, and then Mark Antony is below the table doing pull-ups with his legs and arms, trying to keep his penis in her ass from underneath. It was so wrong. It was so disgusting. It was so unerotic. And then it went downhill from there because I was, just like Raising Arizona, we'll get back to that. I've always been a very wide angle guy, right? Because wide angle sort of it makes things cartoony and extreme. So when you're shooting an insert of a penis in an ass at this point with a wide lens, you have to be very close to the action. And so now Mark Antony is now on top of her. The other guy came very quickly. So now Mark is he's on top of her in her ass. He's having sex with her. She's thrilled and delighted. And he pulls his penis out I'm maybe 8 inches from her ass. And it's as if her insides were a warm bottle of champagne that had been shaken way too much. Literally a fountain. It was like he was the cork, and a fountain of human excrement shoots up all over me, the camera, my face. I put the camera down. I throw up on them. I leave the loft. I take an elevator down. Luckily, no one's in the elevator. And I am now standing on the corner of 17th and 6th in a pouring rainstorm, covered in human excrement, looking like Willem Dafoe at the end of Platoon, where he's sort of like, his arms are raised like Jesus Christ. Anyway, I need to warn people. The book is very funny, but there is this chapter, I think it's chapter 19, as they say, is called An Actor Sure to Come Shot Behind. So that may be a chapter some people want to skip, but perhaps others will relish in it.
That was the best story I've ever heard. And now I have to know, did you tell that story to Joel and Ethan Coen to do the prison break scene in Raising Arizona?
Wow, you're good.
Yeah.
I really love that movie.
You're good, because there is a certain disgusting thing when Goodman reaches down and pulls Bill Forsythe
out of the sewer pipe.
Out of the sewer. It was such a miserable night of filming. Not as bad as a porno, but we were, and that sand, that red clay was all, we all looked like we were from the 15th century in pre-Columbian Mexico or something at the end of that night, just covered in clay.
It was also, as I looked through my mind's eye, the scene where he stole the diapers and the dog broke out, was chasing, and the car was zipping around the block. I mean,
it's incredible.
Incredible. All right, hold on. I gotta go back a little bit. Now, you say the director went across the street to go to Barney's. Is that Barney's of New York?
Yep. Barney's at 17th and 7th.
So Barney's of New York's a highfalutin department store, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And he just walked in there with a cold call? He didn't know somebody?
He was a genius that way.
Because that's persuasive.
Taking the butt?
To find somebody who was working there and convince them to go across the street and shoot a porno?
Yep. And, that's how, and his name was Dick, which is really funny.
You know, it's funny because when I was being prepped for this interview, I thought, I heard this story, and I thought, well, what porn actress worth her salt who knows she's going to do a double penetration doesn't prepare?
Yeah, it's called carmeling.
Is it called that?
Yeah, that's the enema you do before an anal shoot.
That's how I get my burger at In-N-Out, by the way. There's a code there. Don't get me started. But the point is this.
Animal stuff.
I was like, why didn't she show up prepared? But now it makes sense. She didn't show up. This chick, he went across the street, and she had no way to anticipate when she was having breakfast that morning.
Almost no way.
That this was even within the realm of possibilities.
Almost no way, exactly.
Almost, yes. I guess one has a certain sense about a DP. But... And DP and director of photography.
He's the DP's DP.
Wow. Sorry, Brian, did you have a question?
I hate to take it away from the porn. We can bring it back. One of the movies I love of yours is, of course, Men in Black. What was it like directing Vincent D'Onofrio? Because he stole the show in a lot of ways.
I love
and a
working
movie
with
that's hard to steal the show at,
Yeah, no, Vincent was great. He had hours of makeup every day, and he was playing John Huston, by the way, the famous film director. In fact, near the end when he's in the morgue and he's talking to Patrick Breen, is the morgue attendant, and he's saying, "I lost something, a pet cat." It's pure John Huston. He was great to work with, and a lovely guy, and really dedicated to being a bug. He was great.
Siobhan Palin, his wife.
Who is she?
She was in here. She was in here for the redhead.
Oh, really?
On Zoom.
Oh, on Zoom.
SNL.
Sorry. Yeah, now I got it.
She is so dry, so funny, and I cast her in everything I can. She was also in Big Trouble, which I directed, and I just knew this one part. You know, when you work with certain actors, you just want to keep working with them again. You know, Patrick Warburton, who was in the original The Tick, he was Will's partner in Men in Black 2. He was in every episode he played Lemony Snicket the 3 years we did a series of Unfortunate Events. You keep wanting to go back to certain actors because they're just great to work with. Warburton is one. Kristen Chenoweth, I've worked with 4 or 5 times, and Will Smith 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah, Warburton I happen to know pretty well. He's just a dude.
Lovely guy. Lovely, lovely guy. One of those, yeah.
No, I'm just going to second that emotion.
Yeah.
That's the great Smokey Robinson would do.
Yep.
Let me give a plug to the book. Barry Sonnenfeld, Call Your Mother, Memoirs of a Neurotic Filmmaker. Barry, next time you're in L.A. shooting or doing anything else, come by the studio and regale us with more disgusting porn stories.
Anytime.
Thanks,
guys.
Barry. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
All right, we will take ourselves a quick break. We'll come back and do the news right after this.